A 17th century Mughal emperor once looked out over a valley of lakes, mountains, and saffron fields and reportedly said, "If there is a paradise on earth, it is this, it is this, it is this." He was describing Kashmir. Today, that same valley is lined with more soldiers per square kilometer than almost anywhere else on the planet, split by a militarized border called the Line of Control, watched by drones, bunkers, and barbed wire on both sides. Every other dispute in this series eventually went quiet. A ceasefire, an armistice, a diplomatic freeze that held. This is the one that didn't. Since 1947, this valley has been fought over in 4 wars, and as of this recording, people are still dying along that line. In August 1947, British India was partitioned into 2 new countries, India and Pakistan, along religious lines. Over 500 semi-independent princely states were given a choice: join India, join Pakistan, or in theory, remain independent. Jammu and Kashmir was different from almost all of them. A Muslim-majority population ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, Hari Singh, who tried to stay independent. In October 1947, armed tribal fighters crossed from Pakistan into Kashmir. Days later, on October 26, Hari Singh signed the Instrument of Accession, handing Kashmir to India in exchange for military help. Indian troops were airlifted in the next morning. War broke out between India and Pakistan within weeks. Every fact in this paragraph is agreed upon by both countries. What each side makes of it is not. The First War ended in a UN-brokered ceasefire in January 1949, along a line that was supposed to be temporary. The UN Security Council called for a plebiscite, letting Kashmiris vote on their own future, conditional on Pakistan withdrawing its forces first. That withdrawal never happened, and neither did the vote. A second war broke out in 1965, ending in stalemate. A third war in 1971, fought mostly over Bangladesh's independence, ended with the Simla Agreement, a bilateral deal that renamed the ceasefire line the Line of Control and, in India's reading, took the whole dispute out of the UN's hands for good. In 1999, a fourth conflict, the Kargil War, broke out high in the mountains after Pakistani forces crossed the Line of Control. In August 2019, India revoked Kashmir's special semi-autonomous status entirely, folding it directly into the Indian Union. Pakistan calls this illegal. India calls it overdue. India's case rests on a signature. The Instrument of Accession, Hari Singh's, was the same legal document every one of the roughly 560 princely states used to join either country. No different, India argues, from the paperwork that brought in states twice Kashmir's size without controversy. Once signed, Kashmir became, in the words India has repeated for 70 years, an integral and inalienable part of India. On the plebiscite, India's position is procedural. The UN resolution required Pakistan to withdraw first. Pakistan never did, so the obligation was never triggered. On the Simla Agreement, India reads it as final, a bilateral treaty that closed the door on outside mediation for good. And on the post-1989 insurgency, India's language is unambiguous, not an uprising but cross-border terrorism, armed and directed from Pakistani soil. Abrogating Kashmir's special status in 2019 in this frame wasn't a taking. It was finishing what 1947 already decided. Pakistan's case rests on a number, roughly 77%. That was Kashmir's Muslim population in 1947. And under the same religious logic that drew the entire border of partition, Pakistan argues Kashmir should have joined it, not India. In this frame, Hari Singh's signature wasn't a legal formality. It was one Hindu ruler's decision made under military pressure, overriding what the Muslim majority he ruled would have chosen for themselves. Pakistan describes the October 1947 tribal fighters not as an invasion, but as Kashmiris and their kin rising up on their own. On the plebiscite, Pakistan's reading is exactly opposite India's. The vote was promised by the UN, is still legally outstanding, and its absence is the entire unresolved core of the dispute. A right to self-determination, it says India has spent 75 years avoiding. The post-1989 uprising, in Pakistani framing, isn't imported terrorism. It's an indigenous freedom movement. And 2019's abrogation isn't integration. It's called, in Pakistan's own diplomatic language, illegal under international law, a unilateral move to erase a disputed status that 70 years of UN resolutions never resolved. Almost every account of this dispute describes it as India versus Pakistan. It's actually three-sided, and the third party controls a piece of Kashmir larger than some countries. During the 1962 war between India and China, Chinese forces took Aksai Chin, a high desert plateau in eastern Kashmir, and have held it ever since. India still officially claims it. The year before that war, in 1963, Pakistan signed an agreement handing China the Shaksgam Valley, a slice of the Kashmir territory Pakistan itself controlled, explicitly pending a final settlement of the dispute. India calls this illegal on the grounds Pakistan had no territory of its own to give away. Today, China's Belt and Road megaproject with Pakistan runs directly through Gilgit-Baltistan, land India claims as its own. Three nuclear-armed countries, each holding a piece of the same valley, and only two of them are usually in the headline. Why did this dispute never freeze, when almost every other one in this series eventually did? Maybe because a frozen dispute needs exactly two sides willing to leave a line alone, and Kashmir has never had only two. It has India, Pakistan, China, and the roughly 12 million people who actually live there, whose own preference, join India, join Pakistan, or answer to neither, has never been the question either government has been willing to let get asked. Both nuclear powers have too much domestic legitimacy staked on their version of Kashmir to let it go quiet, and neither can absorb the humiliation the other's version would require. Perhaps the real lesson is this: a dispute doesn't freeze because the anger fades. It freezes when both sides find a story about it they can live with forever. Kashmir is still burning because neither India nor Pakistan has ever found a way to lose this argument and still feel whole. A paradise that became one of the most fought-over pieces of land on Earth, held by three countries at once, still unresolved after 4 wars and 75 years. Next time, we go to a peninsula that a different set of powers redrew twice in one lifetime, annexed once, contested twice, and now the reason an entire war in Europe is still being fought: Crimea. See you then.